What's up YouTube, Dave here for Zephyr Wargames, and today I'm going to bring you partly a 10 of the best kind of side deck cards from Nationals. So these are the cards that I feel that if you're not maining, you should definitely have in your side deck. So it kind of helps you guys out if you have them, putting them in the side decks or alternatives close enough to these. And then I'm also going to give you a quick rundown of the UK Nationals. So we'll start off with the rundown from the UK Nationals, and where better place to start following the UK Nationals than by saying a massive congratulations to Thomas Rose for winning the event with BA, of course. So nobody saw that coming. Tom played amazingly well. Regardless of how the final went, he got all the way to the final with Burning Abyss, which no one, and I mean no one apart from Tom himself, would have thought possible at the start of Nationals, especially with the amount of tricksters, the burning going on, Sky Strikers, whole 9 yards, and he's done incredibly well, so well done to him. We will try to get his profile up if we can get hold of it for you guys so you can see exactly what it is, but already the cards that he used that were a bit unorthodox are already starting to be bought out at their highest rarity. Stuff like Elephon and Gallius, I believe it is, that flooded out his Nat Beast, and then of course he played the Dragon Spirit Ritual in hand to discard and negate a impermanence, I believe it was. So that's already kind of got some hype. On top of the Nationals, it was the biggest UK Nationals ever, with 725 attendees, I believe. And then, of course, with the deck takings, as you can imagine, Trickster Sky Strikers took the biggest chunk of percentage. And then, as you can see from then on, there was a couple of Autogeist at 6%, Gem Knights, and all these other little decks, or not little decks, but all these other decks that had lesser representation at the event, and BA doesn't even come onto that circuit, and that one took the reins. Also, if you got to see the 60 card, not 60 card, sorry, the traditional Attack of the Giant card, you saw something amazing when you saw a Saruja on board with triple Totally Awesome. You thought it was game over, and straight away they all got Ra Sphere moded. So, leading off from that, we'll start off with our 10 side cards, and of course, where better place to start than of course with Ra Sphere mode. Now, it doesn't need to be Ra Sphere mode specifically, it can also be Gameciel or some form of Kaiju, especially with Gameciel getting a reprint in BLRR coming out on Thursday here in the UK. Now, Kaijus were starting to be cut. I actually played these in my side deck when I went to Nationals. I sided them in a couple of times but never really saw them. Now with Ra Sphere mode, it serves multiple purposes against certain decks. Stuff like Gokis where they have the unbreakable boards, you really do need to Sphere mode more than one card sometimes. So that is where it comes in. It also then depends on your type of deck, whether you have the ability to special summon and continue to do so, or whether you need the ability you don't mind about losing your normal summon and you can special summon out more as you go. So that is a very, very optional kind of choices, but I do still feel that in your side that you need some form of tribute to get rid of your opponent's monsters or break their chains. And of course, if your opponent flooded the board with any type of monsters, even in Autogeist, sometimes you want to get rid of their Hextia, their Silcoitus, and maybe even their Multifaker. You've got free to do so, so why not do it? Then we'll go into the hand traps. Again, if you're not maining these, you should definitely be siding them, in my opinion. Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. Of course, with BA now becoming back, there might see more Dantes in your extra deck. But of course, if your extra deck can accompany more Reaper targets, you do then have the Sky Strikers of Kagari and Suzuku. You also have the Goki cards, or of course you have Isolde, Mechba, if you think you're going to be facing up against Invokes. You've then got multiple ones like Borreload that are generic, you've got your Firewalls that are generic. So if your deck can either play the generic cards that you feel are easily hit, or can really stop a deck dead in their wake, then Reaper is definitely one to play. Drone Lockbird. This is actually taking the place in most people's decks for Ghost Ogre. Ghost Ogre wasn't played in the majority at the weekend. The hand traps that were being played were Reaper, Droll, and Reaper Jolt, Ash, and then of course the odd effect Veiler was here and there, which had higher representation than Ghost Ogre. Of course, the other alternatives to these cards are Ghost Ogre, but it's not as effective in today's meta as, of course, these two, Droll being the more important one. Now, because obviously it got a reprint in the Legendary Kyber collections, I would like to think that most of you people have them out there. Definitely get hold of them. I think they're about £5 here each in the UK. They might go up a little bit, but definitely get hold of your Droll and Lockbirds. They are the meta staple right now, in my opinion, right next to Ash Blossom. And again, Ash Blossom is a little bit less relevant in that sense, because you go against Gokis, you go against Sky Strikers, you go against anything apart from Autogeist, in my opinion, always want to be adding to their hand. So hitting them with Droll and Lockbird can be very, very powerful. And speaking of adding to the hand, this was a very, very hyped card at Nationals, and that was Shared Ride. This is basically the alternative to Max C, but when it's not summoned, it's when they add. So after this card resolves, each time your opponent adds a card or cards from their deck or graveyard to their hand, this turn with a card effect, except by drawing them, you immediately draw one card. This was your alternative Max C, but you had to go first with it. Of course, this was very, very good against Sky Strikers. Then they're not going to know that you've got a Shared Ride, so you let them add one card, you just go with it, and along with Gokis as well. So the hopes are that you get to side into your board breaking cards against your opponent with stuff like Shared Ride. Now onto the traps. Again, if you're not maining and you do have the ability to play these in your deck, definitely do so. So you've got Heavy Storm Duster. Now this is an alternative to Twin Twister. With the amount of Autogeist out there, they do want to be playing their back row hate. So they want to be their back row cards, so their anti-spells, their Imperial Orders and stuff like that. So Heavy Storm Duster actually gets past those very, very easily. Alternatively, you do want to be hitting your opponent's field spells of Light Stage, and sometimes in the end phase, the Sky Striker Tricksters will set all their back row off of multi-roll. Then if you have the Heavy Storm Duster, you can pop that during your opponent's standby phase, and you can probably deal them with a lot of issues if you hit the right cards. So Heavy Storm Duster is definitely an option to use. Either that or Twin Twister. Twin Twister can be a little bit faster, but it then also means your deck has to have the capability of discarding and not worrying too much about it. So again, this or Twin Twister. Of course, you've got the anti-spell. Against, there were still Pendulum matchups, as you can see in the final. Again, caught everyone by surprise. Pendulums actually get into the final when you were all when we were all expecting Sky Strikers or Tricksters to make it there. Again, anti-spell fragrance is very, very useful against both Sky Striker Tricksters, Pendulum matchups, and then of course anything else that has heavy spell reliance. Again, it's not an absolute staple, but if your deck can run it, I certainly advise you to do so. Of all the other cards around in the game right now, this is still very, very powerful. Obviously, evenly matched staple. I know it's very, very hard to get hold of. Now, these do get reprinted in the tins. We are still going to have to wait a couple of months for those, but evenly matched, hands down, is a massive staple in your side deck. Then, of course, I played Y-Tap. Now, Y-Tap can also be Red Reboot. The reason we play Y-Tap is because, of course, in Autogeist, sometimes you can't kill your opponent off. You're going to get Red Rebooted, and you need to be able to stop that. Especially with the end of time procedures, you don't want to be paying half your life willy-nilly. You want to have the ability to stop it. And then, not also stopping it, but stopping them and then getting that trap set back down again anyway, and then put back into the deck. The only one that was better to Red Reboot, in my opinion, was Evenly Matched. Because you Red Reboot the Evenly Matched, unless they leave that on the board and then go main phase, battle phase, and then activate it, it wasn't very helpful to have set, so that Red Reboot really would hurt someone. But, like I said, it's Y-Tap or Red Reboot, it's entirely up to you. And then one of the MVP cards of the entire weekend, in my opinion, was Mind Crush. Mind Crush, again, was incredibly powerful. The amount of people that searched, if you were going first, Mind Crush was put in for everything. It was put in for your Sky Strikers, it was put in for your Autogeist, your Pendulum Magicians, your Tricksters, Spirals, BAs. You would put this in for everything. It was pretty much in my opinion, 90% of the side decks out there, if not the main decks of some. Mind Crush was just too powerful to do so. So it was very, very useful and really did disrupt no matter what deck you were playing up against. So that is it for the 10 side deck cards that I personally feel you should be playing in your extra deck right now. If not in your extra deck, you should certainly be maining them, because they are very, very relevant, very, very powerful, and can cause your opponent a lot of issues. And again, before we go, a massive congratulations to Thomas Rose for winning the UK National Championship. So well done to him. I'm pretty sure we'll all be keeping a good eye on that deck list coming out very, very soon. And of course, the progress that Thomas makes at the Euros. So congratulations. And until next time, guys, like, comment, subscribe, share. And as always, happy dueling. What's up, YouTube? Thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button. And of course, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button in the bottom left-hand corner and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We've got more deck profiles, duels, pack openings, and many more Yu-Gi-Oh videos coming up for you all year round. So don't forget to stay tuned for all of that. Thanks, and as always, guys, happy dueling.